Welcome to Pearced Off, and I'm Jonathan M.S. Pearce. This week I'm not so much pearced off as looking to explain the differences between two of the great religions on earth at the moment, great meaning big, Islam and Christianity. Now I want to look at the differences between these two religions with regards to society and how they've reacted to society over time. Now firstly you've got Islam. Islam's main difference is the fact that it is the word of God, the direct word of God, the dictated word of God. And as such it's kind of immutable. The interpretation that you can have of Islam is much more limited. And what this has generally meant over time is that societies who are Islamic or predominantly Islamic have had to adapt to Islam and really the Quran. Now what this means is that, generally speaking, Islamic societies are theocracies. They are societies whereby government and religion are bound together tightly, inseparable. So you have this idea that since you can't really argue with the holy text, it becomes sacrosanct to the point that it's untouchable, and society has to adapt to it. So Islam has this situation where societies adapt to Islam. And this means morally, economically, socially, technologically, and so on, scientifically. On the other hand, the flip side of this is Christianity. The holy book of Christianity is the Bible, obviously, and this is very, very much interpretable. So because it's the inspired word of God, not the direct word of God, you can interpret what it says, and you can have very liberal interpretations and understandings whereby you can call into question exactly who wrote it, when it's written, everything like that, and what it all means. Now what this means then is that because the Bible is so open to interpretation, then the religion as such is open to interpretation, which means it's very adaptable. Now this means that going through the ages, society, okay, it took a long time to get going, but as society progressed and changed, Christianity was able to progress and change with it. I mean, this is reflected by the something like 40,000 different denominations of Christianity which now exist. Now, okay, we can debate what a denomination really is and means, but the idea is that there are so many types of Christianity that there's a type of Christianity for anybody. If you're homosexual, you agree with homosexuality, there's a liberal Christianity for you. If you are homophobic and hate them, then there's a right-wing Christianity for you. If you believe in the transubstantiation, if you believe in this, if you believe in that, you can pick and choose your Christianity. Now, as a result, this means that Christianity is very adaptable. So as society changes, morally progresses, technologically progresses, economically progresses, Christianity adapts with it. It is highly adaptable. In fact, there's a great analogy with evolution by natural selection. The environments change and the organism that is Christianity will adapt for survivability. So really it follows the desires and wants of humanity, and it becomes, in a sense, very diluted from its initial beginnings, or arguably diluted. Now, on the other hand, these are both the strengths and weaknesses of both Christianity and Islam. On the other hand, you've got Islam, which is as pure, or very much comparatively to Christianity, as pure as it can be compared to its original form. There's not much interpretation that can go on with the Quran, and so societies exist by demanding, or Islamic societies exist by demanding that societies adapt to the tenets of Islam. So you have these two different ways of dealing with religion and society and governance. On the one hand, you've got a purer, monolithic rock that expects the society to adapt to it, making money off lending, you can't do that, you can't do this, so you adapt to Islam. On the other hand, you've got Christianity, which is being diluted and adapts willingly to all and every desire and need. Yes, there are obviously right-wing, far more conservative Christians as well who will refuse, and dominionists who will refuse to adapt, but essentially you have a situation whereby it is very adaptable. Now, this then is reflected in the way the adherents deal with things in society. Take, for example, homosexuality and the progressive liberal attitudes that we have towards homosexuality these days. Now, Islam is still in this sort of very old school conservative mindset whereby the expectation is that there is no homosexuality and you can't have that behavior, you must abide by the original laws of Islam, whereas Christianity, well, It depends what strain of Christianity you adhere to. So the interesting question then becomes, well, where are these two religions going? What is a future? What does a future hold for these two religions? You've got Islam on the one hand that wants to sit there like a rock, expecting society to adapt to it, and you've got, on the other hand, Christianity, which has this plethora of outlooks and believers, which seems to be able to adapt to almost any kind of environment. So it may seem that Christianity has a survivability, but then it may seem also like Islam has a strength in purity in this conservative bedrock which anchors it so forcefully to the ground and almost brutally expects its adherents to adhere to it, and it has that control aspect through its theocratic existence. So it's really a point of discussion for the panel, if they have time, to look at these two approaches and see, A, whether you agree with my synopsis, but B, whether they believe that one or the other will be stronger going forward into the future. And I find it fascinating because I think this is a really useful tool with which to look at both the religions and to explain why there are these fundamental differences. And I think it does have a lot of explanatory value. Anyway, please do drop by my blog. I've been Jonathan M.S. Pearce, and as ever, blog question everything.